Hi, welcome to Go with Yin Yoga. My name is Judy. This is Bandit. Bandit likes to hang around sometimes and sometimes he wanders off. Today I have an approximately 30 to 40 minute Yin Yoga practice to celebrate freedom. So if you're in the US, this practice is meant to be done on the 4th of July. And if you're not in the US, no worries. We all need freedom in one way or another. And I will be going through our chakras. And I will be giving us affirmations to think about freedom. For this practice, you could get away with no props at all. I am going to suggest a few props, as always. A block. I'm sitting on one right now. A couple blocks, always a good idea. A couple yoga blankets or towels or pillows, always a good idea. If you have a bolster, I am going to suggest that, but you don't absolutely need that. With that all said, let's go ahead and come off our block. Pause the video if you need to and gather up your props. Take the block over to one side. Actually, if you do have a bolster, go ahead and put it on your mat. Doesn't really matter if it's facing the short end or going across the mat. And if you have two bolsters, even better. If you're short like me, come into a tabletop position over your bolster. No worries if you don't have one. Curl your toes under. Inhale. Bring your hips towards the sky. Walk your feet towards the bolster. And then take your hands off of your mat. And just let your head dangle. And here we are, our affirmation is, I am free to connect with universal energy. And if you have a block, you may want to set it up on the bolster and bring your forehead onto the block. It's an inverted pose. It's very calming. In fact, I would like my block height to be on a medium height. Very calming for our nervous system, works on our endocrine system. Gentle versions like Dangling can be very helpful for hot flashes or night sweats. And great pose to practice really potentially every day. And as we are here, I'd like us to come into a pranayama. It's called bumblebee breath in English. You will inhale through your nose. And on the exhale through your nose, you're just going to make a humming sound. So it's like this. Long inhale through your nose, exhale through your nose, trying to extend it and making a humming sound with your lips closed. Join me if you haven't already as I explain a bit more about this practice. So I will always offer you an intention, and you are free, of course, to work with that intention, or just practice alongside me or substitute an intention of your own. And this practice physically is going to work on our lower back, our lumbar region. It's also going to work on our hips. And because it's all connected, we're going to get into the glutes a little and the hamstrings a little, pretty much your whole posterior chain. And on a more subtle level, we are also thinking about freedom. Freedom is precious. Freedom can be a choice, even for people who are locked up for decades. They sometimes make that choice to be free in their mind, in their spirit. In fact, I just read a story recently about a Vietnam vet who was locked up in the Hanoi Hilton for many years, and he was in with another vet who was a guitarist, and they got a piece of wood somehow, and they carved in somehow where the chords would go, where the neck was, and this vet would practice every day with the help of his friend. And he came home and he got a guitar and he could play guitar. All right, if you are doing bumblebee breath, let that go. Take your block, put it off to the side. Come down to your hands and knees into a tabletop position. Take that bolster, put that off to the side. And actually, if you have your blocks, you may or may not want them at the front of your mat. So 2 blocks, one here, one there, to put your hands onto. You'll have to see what feels right for your body. And keeping your hips over your knees where they are right now, begin to walk your hands out. You can also take that block and put it underneath your forehead. Slowly bringing that forehead down to the mat if you are able. If not, you can take your forehead onto a block. You can take your hands onto blocks. If you need to come down to elbows, that's fine too. And in this pose, puppy pose, we are thinking about, I am free to connect with my dreams, with my inner wisdom, with my hopes for the future. And what dreams are you reaching for? What dreams can you dream up? You are free to dream as big as you can imagine. Go ahead and press into your hands and slowly come back up into that tabletop position, and then press your hips back to your heels, coming down into child pose just briefly. Maybe putting that block underneath your forehead, maybe rolling the head from side to side, just letting any effort go. Notice whatever you feel in this position after those first couple of poses. Maybe you feel a tingling, maybe you feel a shift in your energy, maybe you feel lighter, maybe you feel calmer. And then take your palms by your knees and slowly press yourself up into a seated position. I'm going to grab my block to sit down on again. You can also sit on the bolster if you have it. You can sit on your mat, but it can be much more comfortable to sit up when you have something underneath your glutes, your seat. And maybe rock from side to side and really get grounded, feel yourself rooted and supported. Take your hands out to the side. Inhale your right arm up and over. Go ahead and grab onto that left ear, bringing your right ear towards your right shoulder for a neck stretch. We're going to only be in our neck stretches for a short amount of time. Your affirmation in this pose is, I am free to speak my truth. You feel your spine grow longer. Let your shoulders relax. Let your face relax. Let your jaw soften and your throat open. Go ahead and release the hand without changing the position of your head. Bring that right hand underneath your face and slowly push your head back up straight. And then inhale the left arm up and over, gently pulling the left ear towards the left shoulder. Second side. I am free to speak my truth. Relax your shoulders. Go ahead and keep your head in the position it is, but release your hand, bring it under your ear, your cheek, and slowly press your head up straight. If you're sitting on a block, go ahead and come off of that. If you have a couple of blocks, you can place them on a medium height or a higher height. It's all up to you. And you can place one about your shoulder line and one about your low back, and you can place your bolster on top of it. You can also have one block at its highest height, one block at the medium or the smallest height, and place the block on it so that it's angled like this. Up to you. I'm just using a bolster. Actually, I will switch the bolster. Let me put this back here. If you don't have a bolster, I will show you this position without any props at all. So come seated on your mat. Legs are straight out in front of you. If you have that bolsters, just leave a little space between your hips and the bolsters. And you're going to slowly come down onto your elbows or onto the bolster, whatever you have, and bring your hands in. And then begin to arch your back and let your head come down to the mat if that is comfortable for you for fish pose. And I'm going to be here for a couple of minutes and then I will switch to the bolster. And I invite you, if you have the bolster, maybe try this, see how it feels in your body. For a long time, I practiced this on the bolster, and I felt that that made me really open. And then I found that doing it without the bolster actually opened my chest up even more. So our affirmation in this pose is, I am free to love and be loved. And this is supported fish. And we'll be here for several minutes, to slightly longer hold. So your choice. If it gets to be too much for you and you don't have any props, just gently lower yourself down into a laying down position. And if you'd like to come back up, go ahead and come back up. If you want to stay laying down, it's your choice. I'm free to love and be loved. And that includes loving your body, mind, and spirit. And if you were doing this with no props and you'd like to see what it feels like on a bolster and you have that, go ahead and come on down and grab your bolster, put it behind you, and then just lay back on your bolster and lift the arms out towards your side. Let your feet fall out to either side. Same pose, but a more restorative feel. I'm free to love and be loved. It's a great pose for our posture. It helps to counteract that forward jutting of our face and our neck and our shoulders. And also opens up through our heart, allowing us to have an open heart and also to breathe deeper. Next, we are moving into supported butterfly. So if you are on a bolster or on some blocks with a blanket over them, you can just take the whole soles of your feet together and knees point out to either side. Or you can grab blocks and put them under your knees. It can feel very nice to have it something to relax into. You can also remove the bolster if you'd like to and just lay back flat on your mat with your feet in this position. Our affirmation here for supported butterfly or reclining butterfly is, I am free to step into my power. I'm free to feel confident. I am free to feel necessary. Go ahead and reach down underneath your thighs and slowly bring your knees together. If you're on a bolster, slowly roll off to one side. Set that bolster aside. Take the soles of your feet to the mat. And slowly come down onto your back, bringing your feet close to your glutes. The whole back is on your mat. Inhale, bend one knee into your chest and grab a hold wherever you can hold on to. That may be the shin, that may be your foot. You can feel free to pause the video. I'm sorry I didn't tell you a strap is optional. You can also use a strap, and then you're going to bend, flex that foot as if you're standing on the ceiling or sky. And then inhale, the second leg in towards your chest, and again, reach wherever is comfortable for you. You can always use a strap around your shins, around your feet, and try not to let your tailbone come up off the mat. You can always play around with that a little bit too and see if that actually feels good to you. It can give a little relief to the SI joint, but it can also aggravate it. So be careful. And this is Happy Baby. And our affirmation here is I am free to create and have fun and feel. I'm free to feel my feelings. I'm free to be creative. I'm free to have fun. And just let your shoulders and your back feel very heavy on your mat, feel very supported. And you're also getting, you may notice a stretch along the back of your thighs, along your hamstrings, and your hips, and almost definitely in your lower back. And this is one reason why I really enjoy Happy Baby. It's a very calming pose as well. Excuse me. And I do this almost every morning when I wake up, actually. It's a really good all-around pose to hold for a few minutes when you wake up. We tend to be stiff when we wake up because we've been very still all night, and our fascia does not like stillness. And because we haven't been drinking, and our fascia does not like not being hydrated as well. And there are other reasons, of course, but those are two really big reasons we tend to feel stiff when we get up. And on your next inhale, let your feet go and come down to your mat. And slowly stretch one leg along your mat, then the other. Palms come a little way away from your body. And if you have a bolster or you have those two blocks, I encourage you to grab it, as awkward as that may be, and put it under your knee. Takes a little pressure off of your low back, allows you to relax a bit more. And if Savasana, which is what we are in right now, this is our last pose, is not a pose that you feel calm in, there's a couple of different variations you can take. You can roll over onto either side, draw your knees up towards your chest into a fetal position. Or you can lay down on your stomach with your head on your hands, and that could feel very soothing. But it is very important to take some time to let this practice work its magic on you, to let the benefits just sink in before you rush out into the rest of your day. And our last affirmation in this pose is, I am free to be here. And that here could refer to your location. It could refer to freedom to be alive, to be here, to be a person. Perhaps it means being here in this community, being a parent, being a partner. You get to choose. And I definitely invite you to stay in this position. I am going to get up to hold space for us. I invite you to close down if that's your eyes, if that's comfortable for you, or soften your gaze. And I am going to sit up to hold space. I will let you know and guide you out of Savasana when that time comes. slowly begin to allow your breathing to deepen. And begin to make any movements in your body that you feel are necessary as you begin to come back into that body. Also just noticing how you feel, how that may have changed from the beginning of this practice to this moment right now. On your next big inhale, float your arms up above your head and reach your legs and your feet away from those hands, getting a nice big stretch. And on your exhale, bring one knee into your chest and then the other. Rolling to either side, letting those knees fall down into a fetal position if you're not there already. The hand on the mat cradles your head, and take a few deep breaths here, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Letting go of anything that needs to be said goodbye to, anything that is keeping you away from feeling free. Always taking your time with transitions, one pose to the next, from your practice out into the world. And keeping your eyes closed if they are, or softly unfocused if they're not. Begin to press into your hands to bring yourself back up into a seated position. Bring the palms of your hands together in front of your heart and begin to rub your palms back and forth. And bringing yourself back into this moment. And then bringing your hands to stillness in front of your heart and bowing your head over your hands. Taking a moment here. And slowly blinking your eyes open, taking in your mat. Slowly raising your head, maybe with a smile on your face. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know you have the freedom to work with many, many different yoga teachers on YouTube. And I am so very happy and grateful that you chose to practice with me today. Underneath in the description, you'll find a link to my weekly newsletter. Yes, I have a newsletter. It's short, comes out every week. It just lets you know when new videos have been added to the channel, what they are. I will usually have some sort of short affirmation that pertains to this week's practice. And sometimes I'll have a quote as well. And, you know, it depends. Maybe I have a story. It varies week to week. But if you want to be in the know, subscribe to the newsletter. If you enjoyed this practice, go ahead and click the like button and make sure you practice with me again. If you're in the States and you're celebrating the 4th, I hope you have a safe and happy holiday.